Welcome to EZ3 Sport Production. I'm your host, Suttles, and today we'll be recapping the game between the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's get it. Another Knick game. Well, the 76ers beat the New York Knicks 109-89, and the story of the game, again, is the third quarter. The third quarter from hell. It was horrific. I mean, the Knicks was playing pretty good in the first half, like we seen in the first game against the Pacers. They were doing pretty good. They were only down by 5 at halftime, and the third quarter came. And it came. It was just bad. It was just overall bad. The defense wasn't too terrible, but overall, we couldn't hit water if we fell out of a boat. That's how bad they were shooting. It got to a point at the end of the third quarter, a statistic. The Knicks made 6 field goals. 6. And they also turned the ball over 6 times in that quarter. At one point, the 76ers had outscored the Knicks with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, 18-7. It really shows the weak points of the New York Knicks. A point guard and perimeter shooting, because there was absolutely nobody hitting whatsoever. Julius Randle, he ended up with 25 and 7. He was very efficient throughout the field when he was on the court, but he wasn't stretching the defense at all. Alec Burke was the only one really balling from the perimeter. He ended up with 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and we had him playing a lot of point guard, and that's still a little issue for me. I'm gonna get more into it a little bit later, but Alec Burke was the only one really playing in this game. Like, he was really the only one getting it done from the perimeter. And RJ Barrett, I understand he is a volume type shooter. He needs the ball, and he doesn't lose confidence whatsoever. And last night definitely proved it. He only ended up with 10 points, but he was 2 for 15 from the field. 2 for 15. He was having an abysmal night, but it didn't lack his confidence. It didn't shake his confidence. He was still trying to attack the rim. He was still taking those shots. That's what I like to see, but that was a bad night for RJ. That was truly just a bad night. And overall, we just got dominated. That third quarter from hell really put us in a hole. We kept on trying to come back. We cut it down to 9 at one point, cut it down to 7, and the Sixers just took over. The Sixers overall bench, they were moving the ball so consistently that the defense for the Knicks, they could not really they couldn't keep up. They couldn't keep up at all. The ball was moving faster than the man, and it was getting easy shots. Now, as for the big guys, Joel Embiid, he had 27 and 10. He was a headache all night for Mitchell Robinson, for Noel, for Randall at some point. Ben Simmons really had them going, really had that motor going. He ended up with 15 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds, close to a triple-double. But he sat out for a lot of the time while they was actually gaining that, trying to keep the lead, more so to say. But overall, the Knicks, the second half, it's just the second half. I understand that they're a young team, but they need to understand that there are 2 halves in basketball. 2. And you need to play both halves, 4 quarters of basketball. Last 2 games, they haven't done it. And the good teams who have made the playoffs, they're going to expose them. Now, the perimeter shooting, we need to get some shooters here in New York, because there is absolutely nobody who's a threat that can actually stretch the defense whatsoever. All they do is compact the paint, keep everything tight. Can't nobody shoot. That's the only way that the Knicks are actually able to score, is getting to the cup or actually moving the ball. So it was a couple of weak points that I seen throughout this game that really tailored out towards the towards the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth. The ball movement just stopped. Julius Randle was trying to run point forward basically, but the ball just stopped, and there was no player movement. Everybody was standing on the perimeter. It was making it very easy for the 76ers to guard. The second thing is the fundamentals are really something that Tom Thibodeau is going to have to hone on, because it was a couple of times that they had some fast breaks, and it's legitimately supposed to be a 3-on-2, and you're supposed to spread out. You're supposed to make it difficult for the defense, for the defensive man to guard you on a fast break, and everybody's just so compact. Everybody's just waiting for the ball, just going straight to the rim. They're not spreading out. They're not going to the wing. They're not going to the corner. They're not doing anything to make it difficult on the defense. So that's like a fundamental thing that you learned back in middle school. 3-on-2, 2-on-1. That's what you really learned, and they didn't execute that. And another fundamental flaw that I seen is the rebounding. It was about 5 times where it was all Knicks around the rebound, and I guess nobody calls I got ball, or anything like that, because at the end of the day, they keep on bobbling the ball and then it goes out of bounds. And that happened 5 times last night. And I'm like, yo, somebody call for the ball. Just say, I got ball. It's fundamental flaws that is costing this team to look worse than what they are. And Tom Thibodeau is really going to have to hone in on the fundamentals. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier about Alec Burke running point guard. Dennis Smith Jr. did get some time, and then we seen Frank for all of 2 minutes. But Alec Burke is not a point guard. Alec Burke is a spark off the bench who can score and who can also shoot. He's not a point guard. He is not going to set everybody up in the right sets, get player movement, and getting the ball where it needs to be. He's not that guy. And he made a couple of good plays, but that's not a point guard. We need a point guard. We need a point guard. That is the weakest point on this team. Point guard. Point guard. Point guard. Dennis Smith Jr., he's just not it. He's not it. He has so much athleticism, but he can't shoot worth a lick. And he doesn't set anybody up. Peyton, he does absolutely nothing but try to get to the paint. He can try and break down the defense, but when the defense knows that you can't shoot, that's a problem. They're going to back up on you. And Peyton has not been playing well whatsoever. I know it's only 2 games in, but this is looking like... God, this is just looking like it's going downhill real fast. And it's looking like these 2 games is going to be the story of what the season is going to be, because when it's beginning to snowball and it's going downhill, it seems like nobody on that team knows what to do or how to stop the bleeding. And it's going to be tough. This is going to be a very tough year for Knicks fans. It is. But again, 76ers won 109-89. The road does not get any lighter, because tonight we played a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh my God, this is going to be a tough one. And this has been a Subtles recap for Easy 3 Sport Production. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also share to help the channel grow. And until next time, I'm out.